the Premier League is known for passion. You go and get a load of foreign fans coming over to this country watching a football. You don't have that passion on a weekly basis at your grounds. No. It's not the same product. It's shit. Yeah. Look at the grounds now. I hate watching football now. It's only because we're doing this. I enjoy the odd game. I don't even like watching it at the minute. You go and get a load of fans that don't know anything about the history or the pride or the passion. It's not the same game. It's shit. Good morning, people. We nearly had to play the death music at the beginning of the title there for the Premier League. We nearly had to play the dong in from the Undertaker, I think, but we found light at the end of the tunnel. How we doing, guys? Pre, you good?
Yeah, morning. Really good, mate. Really good. I think really looking forward to the show this week after an absolute madness of a week. Don't even know where to start, to be honest, mate.
Ridiculous, isn't it? Ridiculous. There's so much to talk about. And I think the key in it all is even the Mourinho sacking's gone under the radar a little bit because of everything that's been going on. We've had 10, 15 minutes prior to going on to this pod today or this show today with Turk and myself all arguing already. Nobody can make sense of it. So let's get into it. But before we start, can I have a quick chat with you, mate?
No.
No. You know how we've been developing the show, and week by week, everyone's getting more confident. We're adding little bits and pieces. We're doing more links, more professional statements and whatnot. Have you always been like that, mate?
What's that, mate?
Have you always been like as professional as you are now on camera?
I'm not professional now, mate. I'm terrible.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Priyesh here from the One Click Group. Just to let you guys know, as of this evening, we'll be shutting both our London and Essex offices until further notice due to the current coronavirus pandemic.
Wow.
Good evening, everybody.
And guess what? That was like fucking about 12 takes, you can. And then, who's that talking? I don't know. I must have a voiceover on it.
Mate, 12 takes and that's all you can manage. Wow.
No. 11 takes.
11 takes. All right, mate.
Oh, mate, I could not let that go. Turk's been grilled week on week. I've had a few bits and pieces, and I thought I've watched that.
I think we should get some more stuff on him, to be honest.
I've nearly choked myself laughing.
Don't die.
Oh, mate, that was brilliant. So brilliant. Moving forward, obviously, onto something a bit more passionate than Priyesh's little video there. We can't really skim over what's been going on, guys. The Super League talks and non-talks, non-start. What's your thoughts, what do you think, mate, on the basis of a neutral almost in this?
Mate, I honestly, I mean, I've been dying to voice my opinion out loud and talk about it because obviously you're right, there is a neutral side to it, you know. West Ham were not part of it. I'm glad they weren't part of it. We didn't deserve to be anywhere near involved in being part of it. As we've said before, you know, it's something that has been generated to clubs that are being very successful over a period of time. I don't agree with a number of things, to be honest with you. I think, first of all, the timing of it was terrible. You know, close season, just after a pandemic or during, you know, close to a pandemic. But then also the delivery of it, it just doesn't make sense. There's so many question marks for me. And look, there's so many different types of arguments, but the one thing I would say is that listening to people in the sport, in the industry, ex-players, ex-managers, is that it just showed the togetherness that the football community brought together to stop these shenanigans very, very quickly. And within 48 hours, the emotions that fans had for clubs that are involved, the protests that were brought together by Chelsea, by Tottenham before their games, respectively, just showed that a high percentage of people weren't interested or didn't want to be part of this Super League. And ultimately, the Super League has been generated, we all know, purely because of money and a business opportunity. And why wouldn't a club that got approached want to be involved in it? But at the same time, any owner of a club, which I'm sure we're going to discuss, and we want to hear what our viewers and listeners say about it as well, is as a supporter of that club, you must start being a little bit kind of disconnected with the club. No, you're not going to not support your club because of what's happened. That's not stupid. But there must be a part of a Liverpool fan, of a Man United fan, Tottenham fans, Chelsea fans that are thinking, what has happened to my club? We have lost our club. And as a West Ham fan, we've had that in recent years. We've lost a little bit of an identity since leaving Upton Park. We're slowly starting to get our identity back a little bit, but it's hard when you're not in the ground. But it was nice to not be in the spotlight for once. West Ham, we've been in the spotlight for years and years with club takeovers, the Icelandic biscuit makers or whatever, be it going bust. We've been in and out of it. And I think it was just nice just to step back and watch other clubs that make a fool of themselves a little bit. And look, I understand the business side of it, guys. There's a lot of money that you're talking there, but I think people have just completely forgot what football was all about. And those banners of created by the poor and stolen by the rich, it just sums it up for me. And it's interesting. I want to know what you guys think about it as Tottenham fans, because ultimately for me, I've always grown up with this mentality. I genuinely, and I mean this, God's honest truth, I don't care how much West Ham have in the bank. I don't care how rich our owners are. I genuinely don't care where we come in the top 50. Are we ahead of other European? I genuinely don't care. For me, it's always been about going football with my dad, my mates, watching 11 people on a football pitch, whether they're good enough or not, giving it a go, right? And I genuinely, and I mean this, I genuinely don't care how rich West Ham are. So if this was a financial gain to go into this Super League, to make West Ham bigger, richer, watch it in China and watch it in America, I don't give a fuck. Because at 3 o'clock in the morning, when they're showing it so people in Beijing can watch it, I'm not going to be there, right? I'm going to be in bed, or if I'm up to watch, if West Ham were in the Super League, West Ham versus Barcelona, the enjoyment of trying to get into the European positions, of which we are enjoying at the moment. And I've said this all along, I don't think we'll get Champions League football, but to even get and amongst it and rubbing shoulders with our Tottenhams and our Chelseas and Arsenals and Leicester, it's an amazing thing for us as a club. So to take that away, just basically, you're killing anyone's dreams from 7th, 8th place all the way down to the 3rd tier of football, because even and more. Teams like Bournemouth who got into the Premier League, that was so close again from getting into European positions in their first year. You're killing that dream of any single fan by doing it. So to sum up my feelings, mate, was frustration, anger towards the football governing bodies. At the same time, as I said to you, it was nice that football come together and stopped it from happening. But genuinely, I think it was a really sad 48 hours for football in general. And I think that there's going to be a reoccurring backlash from certain clubs along the way as well.
I overall think that then shows true light on what football is now. And you can see everyone deep down believes and knows that there isn't as much passion in the game as there once was. You look at even from when we was growing up, like your Vieiras, your Roy Keanes, those sort of players, you don't get those sort of players anymore, and you don't get as many fights on the pitch, and you don't get the same sort of aggressive nature. And that might be the new generation of player, or that might be the money that revolves around it doesn't entails the players to the players. It doesn't mean as much to them anymore. Do you get what I mean? It's not the game anymore. Now, my point is, if this happens, I don't think my club's my club anymore. I think it is by name. But I don't think my club is my club anymore if we go into this Super League, which I don't think is going to be dropped moving forward. I think this is still a plan. This is still going to be hatched in another form, one way or another, because these other clubs, Barcelona, Real Madrid, are so much in debt. Tottenham are the most in debt currently, but that's only because of the stadium. These other clubs are so much in debt that they have no option but to look at these other avenues for revenue. But what then happens? That doesn't change the structure of a club. They're still going to whittle away the money because they've not managed the money correctly in the first place. And you can't tell me there isn't enough money there to manage now in football. There is sufficient money in the game to have. There is. But by putting more in...
Just the Premier League rights and the money that generates alone, is formidable. But yeah, you're right. You're right there. Clubs aren't managing those finances right. So what's to say that they're going to do it in that situation?
Yeah.
And
you're going to get another 300 million chucked at you. It doesn't mean that your structure is going to manage that money correctly because you've not done it with the billions of pounds you've had so far. So what's this other money going to do? It's just going to let you cover up the money that you've mismanaged in the first place.
But then also, they've missed such a really clear point, and that is the fans. Okay, and I touched on it before. The way that this was going to be done, and I actually think restructuring the Champions League, and I've said this before on the show, I don't think finishing fourth in the domestic league should get you a Champions League place. Okay, personal opinion, I think it's great. If it happens to us, great. You have to be a champion of some sort, so whether it be a cup competition or your league. So a restructure ain't a bad idea, right? But to literally do this, and the way that it was backhandedly done, in my opinion, and the way that it was rolled out is where it shows that what you've just said, football is not what we know it anymore. Tottenham Hotspur will always be Tottenham Hotspur. They'll always be your club. There's no denying that.
By name. But that is it, though. By name. That is it. Yes. And this is the first time, honest to God, the first time I've ever comprehended looking at another club. I honestly, me and my dad spoke
on Sunday night, innit?
Me and my dad spoke, and I was like, Dad, this is not my club. This is not our opinion on what we want to do. And what makes a club is the fans. I honestly thought to myself, if this goes ahead, I'm going to look at a lower league team with more honour, basically. Yeah. But on the flip side, please hear me out. I can see Levy's thought process in regards to it, and I can see why he would look to do it as a businessman. Because could you imagine the 5 other clubs getting this Super League accreditation, allowing them to go into this league, and Tottenham being left behind? Could you imagine how damaging that would be, mate?
All right, guys, look, you both had quite passionate to everything you say with as a football fan and looking at it from that perspective alone, and obviously as fans, that is probably the only perspective we should look at it as. But being a discussion, we've got to try to look at it from every angle, right? Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so I agree with everything that you've had to say, Turk, but then there is the other aspect of why have the clubs come to a stage where they've thought they've got to take this into their own hands to make these moves. Would you say that football fans are happy with what's been going on with FIFA and UEFA over the last decade, 15 years, 20 years, probably more so the last 5 to 10 years, when more of the controversies and all the backhanders and everything has come to the fore. And, you know, do you know where I'm coming from?
I know exactly where you're coming from. The problem being with that is, mate, is they're self-electing.
Yeah.
This Super League is a self-elected management system with the Glazers, with Perez, so it's not a case of someone with any credentials going there.
No, of course, that I agree with. But then also, there's that point of view. All the corruption within UEFA and FIFA, and have you guys seen the new reforms for the new Champions Leagues? What they've proposed?
Yeah, but
which is basically what the Super League is, what the Super League was going to be, with no more group stages.
No, but that's not the same, though, Pre. That's not the same.
No, I know, but please do let me finish, mate. I was very quiet while you spoke. Didn't speak over you or nothing, mate. So if you just want to listen,
you asked me a question. That's why I was trying to answer it.
Okay, no,
go on.
Yeah, so they wanted to extend it from 32. I'm not too sure of the exact numbers. I can actually bring it up, but 32 to 36 teams now. And what you were saying about it should be only champions or people that have won stuff within that league. Now they've even changed it to they'll have the 34 teams in there that should be there due to the top fours and the top threes in respective top 5 leagues. But then they're also going to offer two teams that have not qualified for it through the normal way to join it according to their FIFA or their UEFA coefficient points. So last season, the people with the most points, coefficient points that would have joined this Champions League system would have been Arsenal and Tottenham because they've got the most UEFA points. So again, with that league being set up very similarly, you can see why they've done it. And if they would have gone ahead and done it, these clubs, instead of being, clubs in the billions, in the next 5-10 years, if this league would have got its go ahead, it would have become like, untouchables. They would have literally become untouchables. Hence, from what Glenn said in regards to a team like Arsenal and Tottenham, who are not in and around the Champions League this season, jumped on it because they had, they believed they had no choice to do that.
100%.
They believe they had no choice to do so. And I don't believe that there's another Premier League club that wouldn't have done it if they were offered a chance to jump into it. Also, another point. Sorry?
Answer that, Turk. Turk, answer that, mate. If West Ham were offered it, if West Ham were offered a place in this Super League, would you have accepted it?
Not West Ham, not Turk.
No.
I don't want Turk.
I'm talking about
I mean
the Sullivans.
No, I'm talking about my club. Now, listen, our owners, right? There's so much that already gets discussed about them. We've never actually really spoke about them on the show. Yeah. There's 2 or 3 different stages to this, and the first stage was they come into a club that was on its knees, and they helped us get back on our knees. Right, that's the good part. They've also done a lot of bad stuff or more negative stuff toward the club, which people know about. But ultimately, these are 2 people that are West Ham through and through, first of all, okay? And David Gold lived 30 seconds away from our old stadium, used to work, so they know the club inside out. I genuinely, as businessmen, okay, I think they would have looked at it and I think they would have been like, okay, there's an offer there for X amount of money, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think they would have taken it, right? And now there's 2 things to this. Football is now a business. We know that. And I put my stance on it, right? I don't care about any of that side of it. I go to watch my club. I don't care, as I've said before, what the financial side of it is. But let's go back to the main issue here. This is 12 people. This is 12 people that have sat around a boardroom table, okay, or a Zoom, right, and that have discussed about breaking away to be called the Super League, Okay. Now, what they've done is they've basically put something into place to stop anyone else becoming a big club. Yeah. So by doing this, someone like a Leicester is not going to win the league again. Someone like a Malaga from years ago is not going to break the Spanish division again. These types of teams are going to be stopped from becoming bigger and better teams, right?
I disagree with that, because when Leicester won the league, they were already probably 10 or 12 in terms of rich list in the Premier League anyway, if not lower.
But they nearly got relegated the year before.
Exactly, but their budget that season, their payroll, etc., shouldn't be where they finished. That was done.
So why didn't Leicester get invited?
Sorry?
Because Leicester had more of a stance in this than Tottenham and Arsenal. They've won the Premier League. They've finished in the top 5 for the last 2, 3, or whatever it is, bar one. So it depends how far you're going back. Now, do they look at it as Leicester as not being a commercially better club? Obviously, Tottenham and Arsenal around the world have got fans in the Far East. They've got fans in the States. Leicester, are they not up there yet? So all of this, again, was 12 people sitting around the boardroom table planning.
And you know what's triggered this from the European clubs? Of course, biggest trigger has been them being in fucking debt, which is unbelievable. Like the Juventuses, all the Italian clubs, all the Spanish clubs that are in there. But what's triggered this, and what the chairman of the league, he's not the chairman of the Super League, is he? He's one of the founder members of the Super League, but the chairman of Juventus, and he was the chairman of the European Committee of Clubs, or whatever the correct name of it was, said, how can winning the championship to get promoted into the Premier League be more money than winning the Champions League? That was his gripe against the money within the football and the disparity within money within football. So forget talking about Tottenham and Arsenal not deserving to be in here. From his opinion, this is not my opinion, what he said was he doesn't believe that the winner of whoever wins the championship to get into the Premier League with the parachute payments and the rest of it and all the Sky money that goes around it, that's the most expensive game in football, like in terms of what the prize money is. So so what he was saying, we've been a lot more civilized there. I like that. We're trying.
Listen, we're football fans at the end of the day, but ultimately we are trying to bring out our opinions so other people can relate, or people will have their own opinions on what we're saying. Yeah. And that's the beauty of the game that we love. We're always going to have different opinions on it. But
that's great. But Turk, you still ain't told us. Do you think your chairman would have accepted to go in this Super League?
I said no.
Well, you don't think Karen Brady and the two Gold and Sullivan would accept going in there?
The guys that sold Upton Park because they
you're delusional, mate.
But that's why. Because it goes back to what I said before. We've already had the heart ripped out of our club. Yeah, we've sold our stadium. We've moved to a new stadium.
So why would they worry about doing it again?
Do you think they care about fans?
Because they've already admitted that they've made a mistake.
No,
they've already admitted that they've done it in the wrong way. Right? By doing
I think you're looking at it from West Ham tinted glasses, which obviously all of us will. Okay,
I'm not. I promise you, I'm not. I've had a lot of time to think about this, and look, I might be wrong, right? That might be wrong. They might have gone, yeah, thank you very much, bosh, da da da da. But answer this then.
You know what? Before you finish that statement, you know what each club was going to get for actually, signing up for it, which they have all signed up already, and that's different. Was it 300 or was it 425 million per club?
I heard 300 million, but look,
300 million, 425 is all fucking.
Yeah, it is small change.
It's mad money, isn't it?
It's a lot of money, but it goes back to what Glenn was saying as well earlier. So that 300 million, you're going to be in this Super League, but everyone was saying, oh, it's not going to affect the domestic league. Of course, it's going to affect the domestic league because one.
And that's the point why Golden Sullivan will accept it.
No, look. The reason I'm saying it is because they've already done a lot of damage to West Ham, right? And this was only going to be detrimental to the club because the fans already feel so disconnected with the club. And I honestly think they've already come up and said, we made a mistake, whatever, blah, blah, blah, done. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. But the same thing would have happened anyway. So let's look at Levy's reasons. Why did Levy accept? Or why did the Man United guys accept? Why did the Liverpool guys accept?
I think Levy is a different case to the other clubs. Everyone ridiculed Tottenham. Everybody has ridiculed Tottenham.
Of course, it's a different case because all of the other guys have got massive money backing within the club, etc. Since Levy's come into Tottenham with ENIC, they've come in with look. Before ENIC come into Tottenham had never finished above 7th in the Premier League. Never. Since he's 100%, come in,
100%.
Since he's come in and took over from Alan Sugar, with all the debt that Alan Sugar was in, etc., they've come in and they've tried to put money into it. They used to have ENIC, I don't know if you guys knew it or not, but ENIC had different clubs around Europe.
Yep.
Before they had Tottenham. At the same time as they were invested in a few different clubs. So I think they had a club in Czech Republic, even I think it was maybe Sparta Prague or something. They had Daniel Levy sat on the board at Rangers as well.
Yep.
In Scotland. So, and then they put all their eggs into the Tottenham basket, yeah? And then since the time they've started trying to put money into it and trying to grow the club, you have since had Roman Abramovich that came into the Premier League that at that point there's no problem, right? So Roman Abramovich comes in, spends £1 billion, and then starts winning the league, starts buying titles, just running through it. Then you had the Man Cities that done it a few years later, and before that you had the Man Cities and the Manchester Uniteds and Arsenals that were just right on top of it. So there was 4 super clubs, and Tottenham never should have been qualifying for the Champions League 4, 5, 6 years ago because according to their structure and their wage budget, etc., they were no bigger than the 6th biggest club or 7th biggest club in the Premier League. But they broke that monopoly that was above them. And
this is all still talking about business side of it. This is all about everything that you've said is about stats, about money, about positionings and all that. The bottom line is it's about the fans.
How's positions about the business side of things? Of course.
So, on a fan point of view, mate, I'm going to make myself the most unpopular Tottenham fan there is, I think. But from a fan point of view, I went to the 1999. I think it was what was the cup final then? The League Cup.
No,
it wasn't Carabao.
Cup. It was the Carling Cup. Or was it the Worthington? Or was it the Worthington?
No. It's the Worthless Cup. Yeah, Worthington Cup. At that stage, yeah. I went to the 1999 Worthington Cup final, and I sat in the Leicester end, right? And that Tottenham team then, that was the chairman there was Alan Sugar. That Tottenham team there, we was pleased to have signed Alan Nielsen for 500,000, and we was willowing in the bottom half of the league. Right, ENIC have taken over since then. The protests outside Tottenham were 19, 20, 18, 17, all around those sort of age. All the fans that were protesting haven't witnessed Tottenham before ENIC. They haven't, right? So all the protests down there, you look at the footage, it's all youngsters. They haven't witnessed Tottenham being on the level of West Ham. Because ENIC took over, we've had to do it in a different way. We've got a billionaire owner, Joe Lewis. That's great. But we've done it in a different way to all the other clubs. So I personally think we was handcuffed. Basically, we had to do it, or I think all this work goes down the toilet. Now, I'm not saying Levy is a god or anything like that, because he's got his fucking faults. He has got his faults. But Tottenham was not Tottenham as we speak now 20 years ago. We wasn't. We was West Ham. Well, not even West Ham now.
Wasn't this Tottenham 10 years ago. Forget that long ago. It wasn't even 10 years ago. when we first broke into that Champions League, when we beat that Man City, all that oil money to get into that top 4, when Peter Crouch scored that header to finish fourth, with Harry Redknapp had the bucket of ice chucked over him with David Beckham.
Yeah, listen, everything that you've said is exactly the reason why it shouldn't have been accepted. Because you've grown your club. You've grown your club organically.
Yeah, it's Levy's fault. Levy's fault because he accepted it. Yes, but I don't think
you've grown your club organically. You've grown your club to get success, and when I say success, okay, you haven't had a trophy yet. You might get one tomorrow. You haven't had a trophy yet, but your success over the last few years have been built on consistency, on finishing around the top 4, top 5. You nearly won the league 4 or 5 years ago. You could have won the league that year.
You won the Champions League 2 years ago, but we never
okay,
did.
but the point is, it was in and around the mix. So, what, as a the Tottenham fans, what they're pissed off about is saying, look, we've got to this stage now consistently. We sacked Pochettino to get Mourinho, and we're going to go on to this in a minute, to take us to that next stage because he's got a winning mentality. We're going to win something. Right?
That's the fault of Daniel Levy, I reckon.
Right. So
that's
now
Levy's fantasies that he's had since 2005, and he got to action them in 2009.
Yeah, because he's under pressure now to be successful and to win. So because he's under that pressure, accepting this Super League was a no-brainer for him. I think it was an easier decision, going back to what you said, for someone like Levy to accept it as Tottenham Hotspur than for someone like Karen Brady, Gold, and Sullivan.
Because they haven't got the pressure. They haven't got the pressure of the £1 billion debt on the stadium.
That leads you to the next point.
It's not regardless, because you're in a council stadium which you're paying fuck all for.
Yeah, but that's that. You're comparing yourself to West Ham. It's really cute. It's really cute that you're comparing yourself to West Ham. But
I'm not comparing. We're talking about you guys making that decision, West Ham making that decision, and Tottenham making that decision.
Yeah,
that's where the comparison comes into it.
We never got anything in front of us to make a decision. We weren't included, rightly so, right? So the point I was trying to make was, Levy still could have turned around and said no. The reason he said yes is because the club is going to be up for sale, and he wanted to show the new owners and whatever, blah, blah, blah, that we are now part of this Super League. He accepted it, got it signed off. You're worth 350 million more, and it was going to make it a lot more of an easy transition to sell. That is the bottom line. That's a business decision. It's not a football decision. The football decision,
unfortunately,
he chucked your team under the bus.
We spoke about this.
2 seconds, let me finish my point. He chucked your team under the bus, just as David Gold, Karen Brady, and Sullivan chucked us under the bus when selling Upton Park to move to the Olympic Stadium to promise us bigger and better things. They never delivered yet, right? They tried.
They tried by bringing the Pellegrinis in, spending all the money.
The infrastructure of the club was poison, mate. The infrastructure of the club was wrong. Our training facilities are on point with Orient at the moment. So you can't turn around and bring Pellegrini in and spend 40 million on Anderson.
Yeah, less of that, mate. Rashford's lovely.
It's fucking disgusting. To then be competing with these big teams. You've got to do it in small steps, which at the moment we're on the very small step of doing something. We're like where Spurs were 8 years ago, 7 years ago. You know, we're toying with it. We're not, to get anywhere near Spurs, we've got to do it consistently for the next 5, 6, 7 years, right? But Levy accepted this and threw the club under the bus based on greed. That's the bottom line. As
Levy had that pressure.
He had to make that decision, I think.
Levy had that
pressure. Because he's selling the club.
Oh, mate.
No,
that's not the only reason. That's not the only.
What do you think? What do you think he's going to go? Stand back and go. You offer me to go into the Super League as Tottenham Hotspur, and go. No, you's lot crack on over there. Use 5, crack on. I'm going to be honourable on this, and I'm going to stand back with everyone else and let my 20 years worth of work go down the pan, and let all these other people get the money. It's not going to be like that,
mate. You're talking
about. I don't agree with the Super League. I don't. I really don't. Yeah. But I can see, which is more than I can say for a Man City or an Abramovich at Chelsea, who don't actually need to go in there. They don't actually need to go to the Super League, do they?
No, they don't. But
No.
don't you think Levy now has turned around and gone, fuck the Tottenham fans, right? I don't give a fuck about you lot.
I think all 6 of those clubs have said,
yeah,
fuck,
which is why it's called the problem. But the only difference between Tottenham,
I've just got a tweet. I've got a tweet come through here
and those other 6 clubs is that Tottenham have done it organically. Yeah, you've built a new stadium, you've done all that. This is me giving credit to Tottenham here. So you take this point because it's never going to happen again. That's what makes you different from those clubs. Chelsea, right? We know what they've done. Yeah, Man City, we know what they've done. Man United, we know where they've come from. Okay, they've been consistent up there. But for Tottenham to do it, that is why I think it's more upsetting as a football fan, because he's just basically gone all that hard work and they've attempted to do a breakaway. And I think he would have come out of it a lot better if they didn't.
Listen,
you probably won the league.
Turkan, listen. You
would have won the league. You probably would have won the league.
I've got a tweet that's just come through from one of our Turkish cousins who plays for Manchester City, İlkay Gundogan. Yeah, what he said on it, I'm going to read it out. It's literally been tweeted this morning or yesterday night, even on the 22nd at night. With all the Super League stuff going on, can we please also speak about the new Champions League format? More and more games. Is no one thinking about us players? The new UEFA Champions League format is just the lesser of the 2 evils in comparison to the Super League. And then he's followed that tweet up. He's followed that tweet up with another tweet saying the UCL format right now works great, and that is why it's the most popular club competition in the world for us players and for the fans. So,
yeah, you have no win. It's 2 billionaire entities battling against each other, and we just have to go with it. And that's what the sickening part about it is.
And you know the saddest thing about it, gents, you know what the saddest thing about it is? There's probably been a good old drink that's gone to all 6 of these club owners by UEFA to pull out as quickly as they did. Here you go, boys. There's a quick 50 million to just take that.
I've got a question about this. I've got a question about this to you boys. All right. Now, there must have been a lot of planning that's gone into this. This didn't happen overnight.
10 years, mate.
Right. So this has been planned over a long period of time.
And
right?
that's where the integrity is taken out of it. Where they fucking, you know how we sat around the table and we talk between us about how we plan our show, etc. They've done that with 20 clubs and they've hidden it and they fucking stabbed them in the back. Right. And that is a painful thing.
These 12 businessmen who, let's face it, are probably very intelligent. Okay, have got a lot of money in between them. They make intelligent decisions. That's why they're successful. Okay, they've sat around this table. Someone must have gone, right, what are we going to do when the backlash happens? Because let's face it, I'm sure they didn't expect everyone to go, oh, that's lovely. See you later, everyone. Like,
I don't think they did, mate. I don't think they did.
But they must have thought about the backlash. To not be able to come back and with a solution or with an argument. No one ever come out with an argument to it. All that happened was the club started going, we're getting a little bit of heat here from the fans. I'm going to pull out. I'm going to pull out. I'm going to pull out. I'm going to pull out. I'm going to pull out.
It wasn't that. It was when the prime ministers, when the government, when all FIFA, UEFA, the fans, the clubs, the managers, the players, all put it on them for that 24 hours. Again, let's talk about the pressure that was put on by Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher. Do you think that's sincere pressure just as fans? I don't think so. I think they're fucking getting paid by Sky Sports to make sure to entrust and fucking, ensure that Sky Sports don't lose their...
Yeah, I think there's a massive part of that. There's definitely a massive part of that. And it's a Murdoch-owned entity. A Murdoch-owned entity that's going to lose... What's that, mate?
There's nothing wrong with that. At the end of the day, them two represent Sky Sports. They're ex-professionals. They're passionate about, first of all, their club. I've never seen so many people slag their own clubs off in the last week.
I think what the point was the chairman.
Jamie Carragher nearly went back to supporting Everton at one stage.
I think what the point was, mate, is
that's
that
an invite.
I think the chairman expected the loyal supporters to stick by their clubs. Despite it being the
majority of them would have done, mate. People ain't going to change their teams. Not everyone's going to think like you.
No, it's
Glenn,
not a matter of
that
changing
I'll
the team,
perform my
Bree. It's a
team.
matter of turning
No,
around
but
and
he
going,
did say that. He said that.
you're
at the beginning
playing
of the show, that me
Wednesday,
and my
3
dad.
o'clock in the morning in Beijing against Juventus.
But that's on a
Well, it's
Wednesday.
not
Our
Tottenham
Premier League
anymore.
game.
It's not
Our Premier League game's still the Premier League game on the Saturday. Do
Yeah,
you
but you're
understand?
playing 3
This is
o'clock in
just
the
a-
morning.
You're
Just
playing
with
your
Beijing.
local rivals, mate. You're playing
Yeah, but-
local rivals, local teams, local with history. If we go into the Super League, it's Tottenham by name. It's not Tottenham that I love
Yeah.
and grown up with.
No,
It's not-
exactly.
it's
But
not always
what I'm
is.
saying to you is, if it doesn't matter where you finish in the league, you get back from a late trip to Japan or China or whatever, on that Saturday, I'll play the Resis because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's
That's the
what
next
kills
point,
the
mate.
domestic league.
That is the next point. The name of the league is not the European Super League. It's the Super League, right? Which implies that it's a world league.
Yeah, because it would become.
And where do you think this idea has come from? It's come from these American owners that have
Absolutely.
got the Red Sox. They've got these different clubs,
I
the
agree with that.
franchises.
Because what would happen is it would then go from 12 to 14 to 16 to 18 to 20. Before you know it, you'd have a league of
the proposition
everyone
was
else.
always a 20-team league. It was always a 20-team league. The 12 teams were locked in, and they were the founder members. There was another 3 clubs they were looking to join into the league. And guys, all the listeners, please comment below and let us know if we're getting into the stuff wrong or anything like that.
Right, let's cut back a second,
go on,
because you mentioned the government getting involved, and we've got onto a really great point of what this is going to be. This is going to be a world league with tax havens, because you think of the amount of VAT and tax that is spent in this country that in other countries and tax havens would be avoided, and you think Henry Levy, you think Joel Glazer, you think all these
forget them, look, mate. There's a lot of people that probably listen to the show, etc., that do things to save as much tax as they can. Because
absolutely, but why do you think Boris Johnson's got involved?
Because he
can see exactly what's going to happen here.
He was
scared. You lose money.
But
you think of the amount of money that goes through because of the Premier League, and if you take the Premier League, the heart of the Premier League, out of England, the tax and the VAT goes with it. This country will be screwed. That's what Boris Johnson.
And when they were saying things like, "Oh, we're going to kick them out of the Premier League," no, you're not going to fucking kick them out of the Premier League, because without those 6 clubs, there is no Premier League. It's not the Premier League. It might as well be the Championship.
Yeah, but the point is, the fans of the 14 remaining clubs, right, plus the ones that they would, I'm just thinking hypothetically here, be promoted into the Premier League. It would be like that overnight. It would be the Premier League again, right? Okay, it might not be the same. Okay,
people would not watch it as much, mate. Only the fans would watch it.
People
not around the globe. Around the globe, they
might not watch it. They might not watch it. But in the UK, right, knowing the domestic league, those fans would watch it even more because it would be more competitive, right? And it would be a better league for a football reason, not for a global reason. I agree with that. You're not going to get people waking up in America to watch Burnley versus Macclesfield. That's not going to happen. But at the same time, it would, like that overnight, just like
what would have happened.
The Premier League was formed. Just like when the Premier League was formed, overnight it just went boom.
Mate, you look at, do you think that I mean, it's obvious that they didn't care about the fans with this decision, but with this being a world league, we've come to the conclusion that we do believe this would have been a world league rather than a European league.
Agreed.
Do you think that they would care about the season ticket holders in this, or are we trying to attract a world fan, i.e. your South Korean fans?
That's the one.
Rory Jennings, with the kickoff, brought up an amazing point. He is not looking for your £900, like the chairman. They're not looking for your £900 a year season ticket holders, because all they spend is £900 a year. They're looking for your Chinese, Korean, all over the world coming to this country for an event, for a theatre show, spending 300 quid in the shops, in the merchandise shops. They're looking for that. They don't care about the season ticket holders because they only spend £900 a year. They're looking for £300, £400, £500 per episode, per fixture.
And you've hit the nail on the head. You've absolutely hit the nail on the head. This was about the football fan from across the globe. This was about the football fans in Asia and across there spending money, flying into Europe, watching these games, like it is in pre-season when clubs go over to China, Hong Kong, America. That is what it is. It would be a domestic kind of show, if you like. They'd have singers singing at halftime. You'd have Shakira on there doing her bits and pieces. It'll be like a Super Bowl, right?
It becomes the Harlem Globetrotters.
Right. So then that stops the Turk going to the West Ham, the Glenn Jacobs, the pre-going to Spurs. That football fan that's got a season ticket or a box, okay? Are you, knowing that you've got Barcelona on a Wednesday and whatever, blah, blah, blah, and you got a home game against Burnley on Saturday? Sorry, Burnley fans, this isn't any discrimination against you guys. I'm just using Burnley as an example because they're a club, again, who are doing so hard to try and stabilise themselves as a Premier League club over the years. You know, and there's plenty of clubs like that. But are you still going to get excited and have a season ticket? Because you're not going to watch, as a West Ham fan, I'm not going to get to watch West Ham Tottenham. That's the biggest game of my season, right? Am I going to still go and watch West Ham, you know, versus Aston Villa? Am I going to go and watch West Ham versus Leicester? The biggest game for West Ham would be West Ham Leicester at the moment. Really? That's my club. But it kills everything about it. It kills everything about it.
Look at the other moody point.
Look
at the other. If you're into your conspiracies, look at the Newcastle situation with the takeover there. Yeah, this happened a year ago. So they got all the chairmen revolted against it. The Premier League denied it. The takeover at Newcastle. Do we believe that takeover at Newcastle was scuppered because of this in mind? Because they can't have another mega power in the league?
Well, look, Newcastle have been a sleeping giant in terms of club stature to what they've achieved since they finished second, third in the league, whatever it was under Keegan. But as a club, they're all over the place based on the fact that the fans don't want their chairman in. And they've had 2 or 3 different people come in to try and buy the club. Now, if those 12 clubs knew about the Super League, I'm sure the other clubs knew about it as well, and the other investors knew about it as well. So based on that, yeah, I think that the potential owners of any club, a West Ham, a Newcastle, those kind of clubs, they've gone, no, thank you, because the money they're going to be getting in from the Premier League, from Sky, it's going to be worth less. Because no one's going to tune in and watch Newcastle or West Ham.
Yeah, but that's not the point, though, mate. It wasn't. They wanted to buy the club. The Premier League declined them, said they weren't fit to take over.
Yeah, but that's only because now of all the new regulations that have come in about taking over a club. Every single year, there's new stipulates coming in about.
I think that depends. I think that more comes down to who's buying what club and what it means to the money men that run football, mate. More than anything else, the fit and proper persons test that they try to pass and stuff like that. Like, you know, the guys that own Cardiff, look, mate, it's a completely different conversation. You know, football is corrupt. Football is a corrupt as fuck sport. As fans,
we've known that. We've definitely known that, and like I said, it's
going back to the new Champions League format. You know. With what they're doing, I've got the actual stats in front of me now. So it was 36 now. The new proposition is 36 teams instead of 32. New spots for elite clubs that failed to qualify. And that would have been, last season would have been Tottenham and Arsenal would have been in Champions League because of the points they have for being in European competition for as long as they have, etc. One league instead of the groups. Best 8 to reach the knockouts. So that's how you're going to get to your quarterfinal stage. Other teams to qualify through a new round of playoffs. Every club guaranteed to have 10 games now, increasing revenue for them for the Champions League money. So is that not, like Mr. Gundogan said earlier on his tweet, just lesser of the two evils, where this way round, UEFA are doing exactly the same as the Super League, but they're just controlling what profits go into which club, so they can have more for themselves.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it's doing. That's exactly what it's doing. It's keeping the big clubs or the elite clubs, as you keep mentioning, in those elite positions. But ultimately, that is what's so upsetting, because football has always been about.
Bruv, that's football now, though. Bruv, that's football, though, man. The more, you're going to have to sort of just embrace it, or say, you know what, fuck football off. We're going to start supporting Hornchurch, or we're going to start supporting
Hornchurch.
It's an example, isn't it?
So, boys, wait a second. Can we agree on one thing then? Who are you going to support? Who would you go and support, Glenn? I need to know who you're going to go and support. Would you go Orient, Dagenham and Redbridge?
My dad said West Ham, if I'm honest, but I said no.
Go on, Dave. Get over there.
No, I'm joking. No. It'd have to be Orient, wouldn't it? It'd have to be Orient. You'd have to go there, and then at least. But even you look at Orient. At Orient and look at their ex-chairman. He was a gangster from Italy. He was a dustbin. He was a dustbin firm.
Look, we know we know football's corrupt, but at the same time, that little bit of hope, that little bit of dream that you can have as a fan is still great. And even you guys, right? It's not a given that you're in the Champions League every year, but the last 5-6 years, when everyone predicts their top 6 at the start of the season before a ball is kicked, Spurs are always in the top 5 places, right? Even me. In what I'm like with Spurs, I'd always put Spurs in those positions, okay, because they've earned it, right? Earned it over that period of time. But fast forward 10 years, God knows what it's going to be like. Because 10 years ago, Man City weren't where they were, right? Arsenal, they were as high as you want, for example. So let's give an opportunity to those clubs that do dream and to go forward. And Leicester.
100%.
Leicester, what they achieved is still mind-blowing.
When the Super League thing was announced, and I spoke to my brother, who's an Arsenal fan that a lot of people know, and he goes, you know what? If this is where it's going, fuck it. If it means that we're going to have more money to buy better players in to become a better team, so be it. Because, mate, what we're talking about here now on a discussion, etc., and we think that it's the fans that put the pressure on to call this league off. It fucking wasn't, mate. It was a lot higher powers than the fans that has caused this. And as fans, we have to just accept what they do, unfortunately, unless you're going to go down the way it is in Germany, where the fans are given 51% ownership of each club. Does anyone see that happening in this country? Not a fucking chance in hell, mate.
No. But do you think, like, for example, if Spurs did go in and all the fans that weren't against it, not every single one's going to be against it. You guys average around 57,000 on your home game. Do you think that everyone would still turn up and watch the team then?
Yeah, because if they weren't, there'll be other people that will come and buy those seats.
Yeah, but those are not. They're the ones that the Roy Keane famous quote about the prawn sandwiches came out at Man United. Remember 10 years ago or whenever he made that quote. But they're not the people that you want in there. Like, don't get me wrong. Like,
that's what the English League, the Premier League is known for passion. You go and get a load of foreign fans coming over to this country watching a football. You don't have that passion on a weekly basis at your grounds. No. It's not the same product. It's shit. Yeah. Look at the grounds now. I hate watching football now. It's only because we're doing this. I enjoy the odd game. I don't even like watching it at the minute. You go and get a load of fans that don't know anything about the history or the pride or the passion. It's not the same game. It's shit.
Yeah.
Full stop, done. Like, it's not the same thing, mate. It's not the same thing.
Everything said and done, with all the emotions of this week, Glenn, I made a phone call to you 2 days ago saying there's cup final tickets available. Are you coming? He goes, 1 sec, let me check with Charles. I'm coming. It took all of fucking 2 minutes. I think if this geezer to the right of you, and I don't know, above me, there. Even he was up for coming.
No,
I need to fucking take the piss out of us, the cunt.
But no, I just couldn't do it. I tell you what, I was grateful that we had tickets to go. It's a cup final. We've not been able to go to a game. I just couldn't risk it. I could not risk Spurs winning and me being in the wrong step.
That would have been so sick.
I'd rather just take a step back. You lot enjoy your day. You deserve to be there. I hope you enjoy it and hope you lose.
Look, I fully accept that. I did say yes within a couple of seconds. Agreed. But I have been indoors for a year. I've not been to anything. But the point of the matter is, if the fans were in the stadium on a weekly basis during all of this, then they would have seen the chairman and the league and this Super League would have seen what the backlash would have been in full.
Yeah,
100%.
Sure.
You would have people standing.
Do you not think they've used this last year where there've been no fans in the stadium to actually say to the general public, listen, guys, you've accepted it by sitting at home and watching football. This is the new way of watching football. We don't really care for the fans to be there. Is that maybe another rhetoric that they actually put through their heads and announced it when they announced it?
The problem being, 1 year ago, they tried to put in £15 per game as a pay-per-view. So obviously they're not happy with the money that's going in.
Yeah, that was Sky, isn't it?
Yeah, Sky. So they're obviously not happy with the money that's coming in. Like, but what? You don't think there's enough money floating around football already that you're mismanaging already? Because there's £7 billion in these 12 clubs. There's £7 billion worth of debt. What? And you want more money to go and waste it to go and get more debt? It doesn't make sense. If you was all running at evens, at equals, in terms of you sell a player, you buy a player, I understand.
What we've also got to remember, gents, is the new generation of fan that is also within the game that are not passionate like the three of us are about our respective clubs and about football.
I'll give yourself a headache.
No, mate, it's shit. It's fucking shit. That as much as you don't want to get involved with it, you lose a game or you have a bad result. You know, it's the hope that kills you, but it's also the hope that actually builds you up for a game as well.
Yeah,
guys.
The point I was going to make was there is actually now fans that are not Tottenham Hotspur fans that come to watch Tottenham, mate. There are Sonny fans that come to watch Tottenham, and then when Sonny moves on, or if he moves on to another club, they will then go with their South Korean flags and all their Sonny shirts, whatever, and they'll go and support Bayern Munich if that's what his next destination is, or whatever. The same way.
You've got fans that just follow players around.
Yeah, that's right. Our managers as well, mate. Jose Mourinho had his own fan group. Let
me chuck a question to you guys now. We spoke about the chairman, right? We spoke about the club's decisions to do it, right or wrong. I think we've kind of argued about it, but then we've kind of all agreed on the reasons why on that. Where do you think the players' stance was on this? Because since we've had Milner, we've had Patrick Bamford, we've had a few players come out and voice their opinions. Now, Bamford's not from one of those clubs. James Milner was, right?
James Milner was at the end of his career. So he could be really vocal towards it.
He's probably not got another move in him. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is, where did they come into it and what were their thoughts on it, do you think? Do you think that if you are a British-born player, you want to be in the Super League and be like, I was a Super League player?
What I would say,
are you happy
from my profession, what I work with on the football side of things, I genuinely believe there would have been a good amount of players that were rubbing their hands together thinking, you know what, boys? Because they've got short careers, be it 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, 20 years if you're super professional, super fit. They're probably thinking, that's more money for us for whatever our career is. And there would have been a good amount of players. And you can tell who the players are that are going to be your Jordan Hendersons, your Harry Kanes, and people like that will probably be the ones that will probably be against it. And then you'll have, let's not name the other players. Let's not name them. Let's say there's other players that would have just been like, oh, fuck this, yeah.
Okay, so with what you've just said, let's just say, for example, there's a player who doesn't agree with it, who is currently playing for a team outside of the Super League chosen teams. Super League chosen team, excuse Liverpool, want to buy him. He doesn't want to go in the Super League, right? It's not for him. He doesn't believe it. He doesn't want to be going to Beijing, whatever it might be. That's going to make a decision.
Mate. He probably wants to get paid.
But listen, that might help his decision to not want to go to one of those clubs.
All right, guys, as you know, on our Instagram page, we posted, send us your questions for this coming week's venomous episode. Let's have a quick look at where we're at in regards to that and what questions were raised. We had, guys, why does a swanky stadium give you the right to consider yourself elite?
I like this question.
I don't know whether that is.
I think it was Turkan that wrote that question.
No, because we've got a decent stadium. It wouldn't be me.
No, you ain't.
Yeah, look, we've covered that. It's a great question. We have covered that. Are we judging clubs based on
the richness of their
stadium
club?
looks, how rich is their club, how much money they got in the bank, and that's the problem. I think it's wrong to do that. But most of those clubs are the ones that are pushing and being successful. But let's give other clubs a hope and a dream as well. So yeah, you don't have to have the swanky stadium to give yourself the elite name, in my opinion. But unfortunately, I think it's the way it's going.
And you know, on that point, to this whoever's asked this question, it's not having that swanky stadium that's got Tottenham the invite there. It's being in the Champions League final 2 seasons ago, qualifying in the Premier League top 3 or top 4 consecutively 4 or 5 seasons, and being in the Champions League consecutively. I think that's what's drawn it out. But I think that's from one perspective. The other perspective definitely is having the best stadium in the world, or one of the best stadiums in the world. They want that stadium in the Super League, so the other teams can play it, etc. But yeah, no, it shouldn't entitle the club to be in it because of that. But
no,
next one.
I thought he was going to say something there, Turk. No, let's crack on to the next question, there, guys. We've got. What gives Arsenal the right to call themselves elite? They ain't been in the Champions League for 4 years. For a year.
Yeah. Again, good question. We've kind of covered it a bit in that Arsenal, for anyone who was watching football in the early 2000s and above, you know, they were definitely an elite team there.
Even before that.
They had, before that as well, they had elite players. That's the difference. They had top players. But, you know, they don't deserve at the moment to be even, put into that top 4, top 5 bracket. Who is a top 5, top 6 team anymore? You know, it's hard to say that when you're not consistently fitting in there. As a club,
I really think you can only judge the 4.
Yeah,
I think you got Chelsea, you got Liverpool, you got Man United, you got Man City. And then it's Arsenal, Tottenham, with Everton and West Ham around that sort of region-ish, and then it's kind of.
Well, you didn't even mention Leicester.
Leicester. I've not even included
Leicester above that, but Leicester deserve to be be mentioned more than anyone. What they achieved, but I think
that was a one-off though, Turk. But they done the big one.
No, that wasn't a one-off.
No. Of course, it was a one-off. They won the league, and the next season they finished 12th or 10th.
Yeah, I know. But since then, they've finished comfortably in those top 4, top 5 positions.
They haven't qualified for the Champions League since, mate.
They finished 5th though last year. They got into Europa.
Okay. But it's not Champions League, you know. We're talking top 4 because the elite Champions League.
It's not. But if you said to me at the moment, who deserves it more, I'd say Leicester over Tottenham.
Yeah, that's fine. That's your opinion.
They've won the league, the domestic league in the last however long. But yeah, going back to that question, 100%. Arsenal don't have any right.
No, the only right they've got is because of their past history, isn't it? And their American owners that are probably at the forefront of starting this league, with the Glazers from Man United, who've got the Crafton and the guys at FSG at Liverpool, and those 3 guys, the 3 American owners, probably right at the front of it. I think I was listening to Talk Sport on the way home yesterday, or on my way to the Essex office from London. I was at Leighton yesterday, and I was listening to, they had someone from the Arsenal Supporters Trust on there, because they just had a meeting with Kroenke's son. And they were questioning him about the Super League and stuff like that. And I think he made a statement that we thought about the fans throughout it. They didn't consult the fans, but they thought about them, and they thought this is what they would want.
Do you know what the other thing with it was? That the other one, the bit that pissed me off, was on Tottenham's website, on Chelsea's website, on Liverpool's website, on Man City's website, there was a statement from Joel Glazer.
because he was the vice chairman of that league, of the Super League.
Agreed, but why wouldn't you have Daniel Levy consulting the Tottenham fans on the Tottenham website? Why wouldn't you have someone, a Bruce Buck, even the American Bruce Buck at Chelsea? Why wouldn't you have him consulting them? It's faceless. It's faceless.
Yeah.
You're not taking anything on the chin here, going like, "This is what we want to do, guys." You're getting Joel Glazer, who has not been in the country for years, to write a letter, and then you're posting the Man United geezer's post on your club's platform.
Yeah,
no, mate.
It just shows that the decision that those clubs made was purely based.
Mate,
on
Perez of
that.
Real Madrid, he still thinks it's happening.
He needs it to happen. Him and Barcelona, they both need it to happen. They are in an absolute shambles. Absolute shambles. You look at the financial situation that those two clubs
They'll
are
get
in.
bought out by the councils.
You said
again.
You said it right at the beginning of the show, Glenn. This Super League ain't gone away, mate. It's not gone away. They will just find another tactful way of addressing it and more involvement and the rest of it. But it's not gone away.
Look at this, right? So we posted a poll on our Instagram, mate. Look at the views of our people that follow us. Will this kill football? 72% said yes.
And they're the real people, mate, because they're our followers.
And then the other one,
I want someone from the 28% to come on the show and talk about it. Why it won't kill football? That'd be a good one.
Yeah, I wonder who they support. I don't quite get that. You've got the other one. Will you forgive these men? 82%, and I see a lot of Arsenal fans that I know of in that poll. They won't forgive.
Well, mate, they didn't trust. You know, the word trust has been broken. Again, this was going back to the TalkSport interview last night, or not interview, but the guy was on there from the Trust, Arsenal Trust. What's his name? Something Vyas, Alcash Vyas, something like that. And what did he say? He said that it was something about, do you trust your owners? He goes, mate, we haven't trusted them before, let alone now.
Yeah.
Go on, any more questions, mate?
No, let's have a quick look at this weekend's substantial fixture for Tottenham. Let's have a quick look. There we go. So the cup final, I think it shadows into the obelisk with what's going on with everything, really. I mean, it should and could have been one of the biggest games that Tottenham have had for many a year. Really kind of goes on the back burner. What's your thoughts in regards to this game coming up, mate?
Well, this is the game that for Spurs, it's a cup final at the end of the day. 90 minutes. I think it's the biggest game for Tottenham as a club. Yes, it's only the Carabao Cup, but putting that in the trophy cabinet shuts a lot of people up, and puts Levy in a bit of better light. I think it's a tough game because Man City are used to being in cup finals every season. I watched them the other day. They rested Sterling. They've got a couple of suspensions.
Sterling's been rested for about 8 weeks now, mate. He's been dropped.
He's waiting for this.
He's been dropped, mate.
He'll score a hat trick.
Well, Sterling.
I think Sterling will score a couple.
Okay.
But,
I really do. You believe, Pre, that this managerial change has given Tottenham more emphasis to be able to actually do something rather than sit back, or do you believe the Pep Mourinho?
In my humble opinion, mate, I think this all ties in with what we wanted to talk about, and we haven't really spoken about it with Jose Mourinho. What's that, Blue Moon?
City. Sorry, just getting me a phone ready for the
game. I'm glad you ain't coming.
I tell you what, I know. Either way, both ways.
It would have been so funny. I reckon he would have got rushed by the three of us, me, you, and Tony.
Especially after boozing as well.
Yeah, exactly. No, it wouldn't have been a proper beating, but you'd have gone home a little bit bruised, boy.
Sorry, I stopped you. Go on, carry on.
No,
I mean, after all of this, without all of this, I am really looking forward to actually going and experiencing. It's going to be a little bit different. The only time I've ever been to Wembley, not the only time, the only times I've been to Wembley have been full up with buzz everywhere, everybody eagerly anticipating it. If it was against someone we're a bit more competitive with, apart from Man City, I think I'd have a bit more of a...
Mate, I completely forgot. Your dad and you joined me and Tony for the last cup final we went to at Wembley.
We did do, yeah. Every time I've taken my dad, we've lost, apart from the 1999.
Well, we've substituted your dad with my dad this time.
Yeah.
So let's see.
All in the name of content.
Eh?
All in the name of good content, which we're going to bring to you guys.
Yes,
mate, I'll tell you what, Glenn, he will smash you, mate. No, but look, going back to what I was saying about the cup final, the question you asked about it, is it going to give us more impetus to actually play more on the front foot, etc.? Look, I've got a feeling that Jose Mourinho probably wasn't going to last at the end of the season because the way it hasn't worked, it simply hasn't worked. Levy had wanted to get him in to Tottenham since 2005. He tried to sign him when he was at Porto. He tried to sign him when he got sacked by Chelsea, probably in 2009 or 8 when he went to Inter Milan. He probably tried to sign Jose every single time he's been available to go to a club, and he's always been turned down. And obviously, he's got his man finally, but football's changed since. What made Jose Mourinho that successful? He's still a smart guy. He's very charismatic. He's actually a really nice fella. I've met him a couple of times, and he's a really nice guy. Someone that you wouldn't expect to be the way he is, but he is. But his football management style, it's just outdated now, man. Or the players that play in today's leagues or play football now are not going to take the shit off him,
I think that's more the case, mate. I think that's more the case. I think there's room in football for all styles. I really do. But I think it's more of the player management for me. If you have a look at, you got Gareth Bale, Winks.
It's not about that. They're not about that tough loving. These players are fucking, they don't love it. They won't have anyone talk to them fun. They're used to everyone licking their asses and stuff like that. And saying, when they say jump, say how high.
Agreed, but who has actually improved under Mourinho at Tottenham? I would say Kane's game's improved.
I'll tell you who's improved. I'll tell you who's really improved under Tottenham under Mourinho. All the other teams. That's all it's improved.
Well, as a club, we've
prior to that. I think the final season for Pochettino, we looked absolutely useless.
Yeah, we lost 14 league games that season, or 13 league games. It's unacceptable, but he got us to the final, so papering over the cracks. But again, that's the other side of it. That is the other side of it. Pochettino said before that season started, this club needs a fucking painful rebuild. We've had our highs with this club, and what did Levy do? He fucking spent fuck all money. We became, in the history of the Premier League, the first ever club to spend zero, mate. Spend zero on that summer transfer window. And then they brought in Lucas Moura in the January window right towards the end of it. It was, mate, you don't spend, you go backwards. And unfortunately, that is probably why all these owners, or the owners that haven't got the oil money or the Russian money and the old money that Man United have got, need more injection, more cash, because without cash, you cannot improve.
This will run on and on and on. I'm not hopeful for this coming weekend's fixtures, guys. I really, really not. I think you think 4-0.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was five until Ryan Mason.
One got disallowed on VAR.
And on the
listen. Let me explain. Though, look, Man City are a great side. It's a cup final, so anything can happen, right? The way I look at it is,
we've got a great record against Man City.
I get that.
Every season, we've beaten them every season.
If you had Mourinho in the dugout, I think it would be a little bit different because he would play to the cup final. Whereas Ryan Mason, he's got a big future ahead of him, looks like, at the moment, to be leading a team out in the cup final. If you go 1-0 down after 5 minutes, Spurs aren't coming back in a cup final. City would go on and score the second. the third. They won 3-0 in the league, didn't they, in your last fixture? And they didn't get out of second gear.
Yeah,
so,
but we beat them 2-0 early in the season.
You did, yeah. But City didn't get out. City didn't start their season until about 3 weeks after that.
Okay, but then last season...
But they haven't looked amazing the last couple of weeks.
No, but then last season, City were running. They were really chasing Liverpool, and we put a dent into that chase, and we beat them 2-0 last season as well. So,
what are you saying then? You're saying that you should be above Man City for putting a dent in their season?
No, but you just said that we've got no chance to beat this City team. No, I've just said...
Not after what I watched against Tottenham Southampton. Southampton dominated for 50, 60 minutes.
No, they didn't. They dominated for the first 25, 30 minutes. And the first half, they don't have the better of it. The second half, we're all over them.
I think the Danny Ings substitution was a real turning point for that.
That changed the game.
I don't think Che Adams has the same sort of threat as Danny Ings, and I think you could see the Tottenham players there sort of breathe a sigh of relief once Danny Ings went off there. Let's see what happens, guys. Keep your eyes peeled. We're going to be doing some super stuff from Wembley Stadium there. Our super agent, our honorary football agent on the show, Priyesh, pulled one out of the bag. Saturday morning G&T from Wembley this coming Sunday. Let's crack on with a couple of other bits and pieces. Guys, have you been witnessing what we've been doing on the Manscaped front?
Yes.
Shall we start? Oh, no, you don't mean like that. Sorry.
Guys, yeah, just on that note, the feedback's been really, really positive. But if anyone wants to take advantage of that discount, please use the code. It will be in here as well. It's the SMGT. I know already know a few people that have done it, and honestly, it's a great product to use. Still feeling really fresh. And
there we go.
Ta-da! There you go. But yeah, it'd be great to get your comments and use that code SMGT and purchase your Manscaped box. Father's Day coming up as well.
Father's Day is getting sunny, so get your man smelling fresh. If there's ladies listening, men that are getting out there, coming out of lockdown, you need to trim yourselves up. So when you're getting that new action,
your balls will thank you.
Guys, we did a competition last week which ran all the way through. Yeah. We thought it was only right to have a member of the unconnected family to draw. Turkan,
yeah.
Can you tell us who won, mate?
Yeah, I can, mate. Yeah. So we put all the correct answers in a little pot. And then I asked my eldest daughter Sienna to pick it out, and she has picked a winner. Pure coincidence, but it is another West Ham fan, so rooting for him. And he goes by the name of DJ Russie, and he won, and he gave the correct answer for Alexander Arnold 66, DiCanio 10, and Scholes 18, and the total was 94, and he got it right. So he is going to get a Manscaped box sent to him this week. DJ Russie, well done, mate. Well done, guys. Well, that'll be winging its way over. If you want to inbox us an address or however you want to get it collected, mate, get that over for us. Lovely. Well, on to that. Did you see the commencement of the Got Bush challenge, guys? Yes,
I did. And who was this gentleman? I believe it's around the corner from our Leighton office. You found some stranger on the road, and what did you ask him?
How we doing, everyone? Glenn here. Saturday morning G&T out here trying to get some people on the Got Bush challenge with Manscaped. Let's see who we can get. Mate. Hello, mate.
Hi.
How you doing? What's your name?
Good. My name is Ahmed.
Hello, Ahmed.
All right, yeah.
Very good, mate. Very good. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sure, go on.
Ask you a quick question.
Yes, sure, go on. Yeah, sure, go on.
Have you got bush?
Bush? No. I cut my bush.
You cut your bush?
I cut my bush. Man like Arnold.
Brilliant. Well, look out for
Jimmy-
us. 'Cause we are coming to pubs near you to find out if you've got Bush.
We are
If
coming
you've
to
got Bush,
Wembley. We are
you're in
coming
it.
to Wembley Stadium this Sunday to ask you, have you got Bush?
Have you got Bush from Wembley live and in colour? There we go. So let's have a little look. Turkham, this week you sent us a little video clip. The video clip was of a league that hasn't really been affected by the Super League talks, but there was a bit of a conundrum, a bit of a scenario going on in there. Let's have a look at this and get a bit of a description, mate.
My
Bosh!
we're going to watch that again in a minute, but to give everyone a little bit of info, if you haven't seen it, not going to name the teams, but the player in the green and white used to live and was flatmates, housemates with the player who ends up on the floor. The story behind it is that when the green and white team player was on international duty, the one that ended up on the floor ended up sleeping with his girlfriend. When they found out they were playing each other, the manager of the green and white team said, do what you got to do. I don't care if you get sent off. What a great manager that is. I'm not going to name the manager here, but let's now watch it again, if we can, Glenn, and just watch and show what.
He actually nutted.
He's absolutely nutted him. And look,
All three
Blokes
of us
are
could
like-
nut someone quite well, innit? We've got big foreheads. Have you noticed?
I've got a big nose, mate, so I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be looking for any.
Was that it first?
but I don't know how long that guy was down on the floor, but I don't think he got up in a hurry, to put it that way.
No. Well, I mean, that was that. I'm sure that happens up and down the league without us even knowing what's going on. But let's have a look at this week's fixtures,
It
guys.
happens up and down our street.
Let's have a look at this week's fixtures. On Saturday, you got the 12:30 game in Liverpool versus Newcastle. Is it me, or do all these games now, because of what's happened, there's no real... It doesn't seem like the fixtures that have happened since, there's not as much bite to them. Or is that just my personal feelings?
I don't know. Newcastle on a run, mate. Newcastle are on a run at the moment. I called it last week, beat West Ham. They did it. I pulled out the danger man, who was Alan Saint-Maximin. Yep. But, mate, what was that defender doing, mate? He backheeled it back into his goal. You know what that reminded me of? Talking about Liverpool.
Traore.
Jimmy Traore.
Oh, no, it was
with
terrible.
a pirouette.
Champions League winner, mate. Champions League winner, Jimmy Traore.
We've read out luck a couple of times, but that that was unexcusable, to be honest with you. But I think going back to what you said, I don't think it's the bite is gone. I just think that it's come to that stage now where there's teams that have got nothing to play for, and then there's teams that have got loads to play for. Liverpool's still fighting for top four. Newcastle, I think they've probably just done enough now, but that's still going to be a really big game.
No, but you know what they're fighting for, and what Brucey wants them to fight for is his future, mate. So
yeah,
they're uber. And you know what? That's all Mike actually needs is a little bit of more form, and he'll say, "Nah, perfect manager for our club."
Yeah.
Imagine being Newcastle standards.
Depends what happens. I don't think the investors are going to keep Steve Bruce, and the fans don't really like Steve Bruce. I don't think if you're going to put billions and billions into a club, you're going to keep Steve Bruce as your manager. What do you think? I mean, I can see maybe a draw here, something along those lines at 21-4. What are we saying, Turk?
Yeah, draw. I'm gonna go for a draw.
Pray.
I want to say Newcastle win because that helps all three of our teams, but I don't see anything past the Liverpool win here, really. I see a Liverpool home win, mate.
Next game there.
I'd like a Newcastle window. Get that in.
As we mentioned earlier, there's not many 3 o'clock games on a Saturday anymore, but you've got the 5:30 kickoff here. West Ham versus Chelsea. Should be a really good game. Depends on what the remnants of is from the Super League chats. West Ham, I reckon they're going to come out all guns blazing in this. They ain't got many fit players, but I'm on the Turkan team here. I think positively about this game.
Well, you've just hit. We have got a very depleted team. I've just found out, through my own sources, the likely starting 11 for tomorrow, and I look at it and I think that our spine has been completely ripped out of that club. I've got Dawson suspended.
You mean later on today at 5:30?
Yeah, sorry, I meant today. I'm getting confused with my cup finals, aren't I?
You are hungover.
No, I am hungover. I think I'm looking at the way we're going to shape up, and no Dawson, who's been brilliant for us, no Rice, no Antonio. That whole spine of the team is being broke. But look, we've said it. I've said it every single week. I'm going to back my team 100%. I fancy we can win it. I think Chelsea are going to have a lot of possession, and it suits us. Whereas against Newcastle, we had the possession. It just didn't suit us. We're not good enough yet to take the game to other teams. So we're much better sitting back and hitting on the counter-attack. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 West Ham win.
I fancy West Ham in this. Let's pop on to the 8 o'clock game here. You got Sheffield United versus Brighton.
By the way, in my opinion, I think it's going to be a draw.
Thanks, Free. What have you got Haaland next to you?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, I think this deserves a Haaland one. It is a nothing game, really. Brighton doing okay. I've even seen Graham Potter. Haaland's left
job.
Yeah, I've seen Graham Potter linked to the Spurs job. I think Haaland's left us, Turk. Sorry, mate.
Is he? I'll do it. Yeah. Then. Ask me again.
What do you think of this game, mate?
What a shit match. So sorry, Sheffield United and Brighton games, but Brighton fans. But no, we'll swipe that one.
You got Wolves Burnley at 12 on Sunday. Not really that appetising. Will be on TV. I'm not really.
Rewind.
Yeah. No wonder they want the Super League.
Yeah. Well, get a Super League in.
Anyway. You won't be seeing this next one. You got Sunday 2 o'clock. You got Leeds versus Man United. That should be a really good game.
Real
cracking game.
Yeah, very good game. Yeah, I think high scoring. I think Leeds take the lead as Man United always do, and I think Man United come back with a draw. I think that's quite a nice little 16-1 up.
Where Man United are away from home, mate, they're not going to lose this game. They just don't lose away from home in the Premier League.
No, they concede the lead though every time.
Yep, every single time.
Every single time. Let's say I think Leeds will be right up for this. Then you've got the Sunday 7 o'clock. Aston Villa versus West Brom. Not a lot riding on it. Let's get that Super League going. Yeah. And then you got Monday, Leicester versus Crystal Palace. I don't know whether Turk's froze there. Turk, you froze?
No, or is it just reading how shit the fixtures are this week?
Yeah. They're not great, right? Really, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
roll on the Super League.
Yeah, roll on the Super League. No, I'm joking. Let's wrap that up, guys. I think we've said everything we needed to say.
Enjoy your cup final, right? You deserve to be there because you've beaten the teams along the way, and I hope you come back with absolutely nothing apart from a sore head the next day. Enjoy it.
Let's crack on, guys. Guys, been emotional. It has been I nearly cried at one stage, but let's leave it on a high note. The fans got your way.